How difficult was it to get? Is it difficult to get your items out of the bag when full? Do I consider this to be a great kind of entry piece? Hi guys, and welcome back. If you're new around here, my name is May, and today is part 2 of our 3-part series in regards to my Hermes handbags. Turns out that August is a Hermes filled month. My Picotin turns 1 year, which that will be part 3. I'm gonna get into a very in-depth review in regards to that piece. My Hermes Evelyn turns 1 month, which is what we're gonna talk about today. And my Birkin actually reached her 6-month birthday. So that video is already up in case you guys missed it. I'll make sure to link it at the end of this one. For today's video, we're going to be focusing on my Evelyne TPM or Evelyne Mini. This was the bag that out of nowhere kind of grew on me. It all started with a kind of styling Twilly reel that I ran into. And from there on out, I just went on a rabbit hole trying to do research in regards to the bag. So I'm going to share with you guys what fits inside, if I use an organizer, kind of the functionality of her because she is a pretty small piece. I'm also going to share a little bit of a story time as to how I got offered this piece. I also will address a few questions that I asked you guys to leave me both on Instagram and on the YouTube community page in regards to this piece. So let's dive right into the details of the piece. It is the Evelyne TPM or the Evelyne Mini. It is the smallest size of the Evelyn range. I believe there's a total of 4 sizes if I'm not mistaken. This one is in the color black, as you can tell. It is in gold hardware and the leather is the Clemence leather. The way that I got offered this piece was basically I didn't. I asked for it. As I've mentioned many times in all of my Hermes videos, when you want something, just voice it to your SA, let her know, because yes, there is a possibility where your SA might randomly one day offer you a bag, but if it is a bag that you are really interested in or that you just want to see for that matter, I say just ask for it, and who knows, you may get lucky the same way that I did with this one. Okay, so let's get into what I think is the main con of this piece, and that is personally the strap. The size, we'll address that in a minute, but the strap for me, I was just kind of like really bummed out that it was a canvas strap. I mean, I know if they would have added a leather strap, the price would have probably doubled. So I guess, you know, maybe they wanted to consider the Evelyn a entry level sort of price and piece for those starting their Hermes kind of handbag collection. I guess that going with the canvas strap was a good idea. Maybe it was meant to keep the bag looking a little bit more casual. This bag was technically originally created to carry all of like your, I believe it's like your horse cleaning equipment. So it's meant to be a kind of casual sort of handbag. So I'm assuming that that's why they continued the tradition and kept the canvas strap. However, the black canvas strap attracts so much little kind of like dust and little fuzzies, I guess is the word. I do have kind of a little matte layout where I do a lot of like my reels and my pictures for Instagram, and anytime that I place her on there, she is like covered in that little white fuzzy sort of thing. So again, I just wish it would have been a leather strap. However, let's get on to really quick how I styled it up and made it my own, and that was styling it with Twillies. So I've done a few styling options, which I have a video in regards to, so I'll make sure to leave that link down below. But with Twillies, you can really play around and kind of dress up the bag a little bit if you wanted to. I currently have it styled with 2 different Twillies just to give me a little bit more length. And then this gives me an option to also wear a crossbody, add a little bit of a higher sit, which is what I personally prefer. But I will also say that the strap is actually a pretty good drop length. I am 5'3", and I will include mod shots as to where it fits on me. And I actually feel like it fits good. It's not too high, it's not too low. It's at a standard sort of sitting. Now, continuing on the strap option, I have considered potentially adding, I believe it's called the Kelly strap. You guys, that Kelly strap is literally the price of the bag, so I'm really tempted, but at the same time I'm really not. The only reason why I would go about it is because I have mentioned that I would like to own a Kelly in the black color as well in my collection, and I do feel like I want to be able to switch around the Kelly and dress her up and wear her casually. So a chunky strap I think will add kind of like that casual factor to her. But I think I'm gonna wait it out until the Kelly comes through, and then adding the strap will make a little bit more sense. Meanwhile, I did realize that I actually have a black bag. I have my Bastille bag from Paris, which I've shared with you guys. And it does come with a removable, adjustable crossbody strap. The graining and the leather is completely different. I would compare this leather a little bit more to the Epsom style of Hermes. It is kind of like a tighter grain, and even just the feel, it's a little bit more of a sturdier feel. But I honestly think that it can get the job done with this piece. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a black leather piece, so I feel like it'll pair really nicely for those occasions where I want to leave the fabric crossbody strap on the side and I kind of want to pair it with a leather option. I can still style it with the Twilly as like a little drop kind of top handle, which I share in that video that I mentioned. So I think that I do have options and possibilities in order to go this route for the strap. Okay, now let's get into what fits inside and how I pack this little cutie. So it is a small bag, as you guys can tell. One thing that I do want to note is the Clemence leather is a very soft, supple leather from the Hermes fashion house. And I personally have noticed, in particular with my Evelyne Mini, that if I do overstuff her, or depending on the things that I do place inside, you can kind of see that the items kind of like pop out on the leather. So for that reason, I either make sure to always carry some sort of pouch just so that I can keep everything else inside. Or the other thing that I would also consider is considering a insert or a bag organizer. I was gifted this organizer from XYJG. They reached out to me on Instagram and asked me if I wanted to get one of their organizers to try out. I do say that I would have liked it for it to be just a little bit slimmer, just because you don't want your organizer to take away any more space than what the Evelyn already kind of offers. So that's my only kind of like complaint in regards to it. I still think it's a great option, again, just because now you do have pockets inside where you can put in any kind of knickknack that you have hanging out in your bag. And then one thing that I did want to point out is, depending what you carry inside, you do have the Perforated H detail, which technically is supposed to be the back of the handbag, but I feel like everybody wears it as the front of the handbag, and I really do think it is such a cute detail that you want it to be in the front of the bag. However, as I was saying, depending on the things that you do put inside, you'll kind of see the colors of things peeping through, where when you do have an insert, the color of the insert will pop through the Perforated H. So I went with a neutral kind of color. This is actually their color Cray, just because I wanted to keep it very simple and make sure that she was always matching with my outfit. But I mean, how fun would it be if you had like a really bold pink or a really bold blue kind of popping out for a specific outfit, or just because you like that color? So keep that in mind, because I do really think that you can add kind of like your own personalities to the bag in regards to adding an organizer. Okay, now let's get into a question that I feel like a lot of people ask in regards to a lot of bags, and that is something that I take into consideration whenever I am adding a handbag, and that is it functional? Honestly, I think it depends on the person. I knew what I was getting myself into when I added a mini bag. She is not a decorative or an accessory style of mini bag, in my opinion. I do feel like she can carry some of your necessities. I don't think she can carry all of your necessities, depending on what you personally carry. There are things that I do choose to leave behind whenever I am carrying the piece, because I also don't want to overstuff her. As I said, the more things you put inside, you can kind of sort of bulge because of the leather being so soft. So just keep that in mind when you choose to add your items inside. I also do think that she is very versatile, which is another thing that I look for in handbags. So not only can you wear it crossbody, obviously, but I feel like with the idea of styling it with Twillies, and thankfully since the strap is actually removable, you can also switch out the handles. You can make it into a little top handle moment if you wanted to. Again, you can shorten the strap by adding a Twilly, or just by styling it a different way and use it as a little bit of a shoulder bag. or you can use it as the crossbody or long shoulder bag that she originally is intended to be used like. Now, before I address if I believe that this is a good entry piece in order to start sort of your Hermes handbag collection, let me go ahead and address some of the questions that I did receive both on Instagram and on the community tab here on YouTube. So on Instagram, I asked different ways to wear her with a Twilly. As I said, I already have a video up in regards to that, so I'll make sure to link it at the end of this one and in the description box below. How difficult was it to get? I feel like I addressed that when I kind of shared with you guys a little bit of the story time. However, I do go more into detail in the unboxing video. So again, that will be linked in the description box below. Is it difficult to get your items out of the bag when full? I tend not to fill her up to the brim. I am very particular as to how I place my items inside. I see sometimes people filling up their bags and then they'll start putting things on top of things, and I'm like, oh my god, what happens when you need to get to the last little piece that you put inside first? So that really gives me like a sense of anxiety. As I said, I'm very, very particular as to how I place my items, so for me it is not uncomfortable at all to get my things in and out of her. Then I did get asked about the strap length, which I already addressed, and then I also got asked, are you considering getting a bag insert for her? As you can tell, I already did. All right, so then last but not least, do I consider this to be a great kind of entry piece? And I really do. Obviously, it depends on your personal style. Originally, I was not keen on the Hermes Evelyne, hence why I went for the Piketton first. I do feel like you should start off with a less expensive piece of the fashion house so that you can kind of get a feel for leather, a feel for craftsmanship, even a feel for just the relationship with you and your SA. So if it is kind of your style, and if you do find it practical, and if you do find it that it would suit your daily life, then absolutely, I really do think that this is a great kind of entry piece. We have Amber from Amber Ashley here that she just recently got one as well. And I don't really think that she has like a set relationship with an SA. If I'm not mistaken, I think she had just gone and kind of started dealing with a new person. She went ahead and asked. The lady kind of gave her a little bit of a pushback. I mean, I'm not going to get too into it. Go check out her video. But she ended up getting the bag. So I think that you could easily get this piece without having to have such a high pre-spend. Again, the reason why I took longer was because I originally was not really interested in her, but somehow she kind of started growing on me. That styling Twilly sort of reel that I saw just kind of like put the nail on, hammered the nail on the head, hit the nail on the head, whatever that saying is. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of in-depth first impressions. I wanted to share sort of how I'm feeling in regards to her. These are not cheap items, so I want to make sure that I am as detailed as I can possibly be whenever I do these first impressions and review videos for you guys. If you have any other questions that you might want me to address, then let me know in the comment section. Also, let me know if you own the Evelyn in any size. How do you like it? How do you use it? Keep an eye out for part 3 of this 3-part Hermes handbag review series, which is coming in a couple of days. If you are new around here, then consider subscribing as well. Thank you so much for spending some time of your day with me today, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye everyone.